Good afternoon, MPC. Welcome sa ating ikatlong press conference for this day. MPC, let us all welcome newly designated Presidential Spokesperson, Attorney Salvador Panelo. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Question na, MPC?
As I was saying earlier, this is more of not a news briefing, but a courtesy appearance to all of you as a sign of respect and friendship to everybody. I was designated presidential spokesperson by the President pursuant to an October 11 memorandum address to me, signed by Executive Secretary Salvador S. It says, in compliance with the instructions of the President and to ensure the continuous and effective delivery of public service, you are hereby designated presidential spokesperson effective immediately for information and guidance. Signed, Salvador S. So I will be acting presidential spokesperson. I'm acting now as presidential. I'm the presidential spokesperson concurrently as chief presidential legal counsel. But let me tell you that the executive order creating this office of, if I'm not mistaken, President Corazon Aquino, this office is a dual function, serving as presidential spokesperson and at the same time, chief presidential legal counsel. So that's it.
Question, MPC. Okay, Maricel, please.
Hi, sir. Good afternoon. Sir, may we know the details, like when did the President talk to you about being the presidential spokesperson, and what's his guidance, sir?
But no, I remember that was stated in the cabinet meeting. He was asking Secretary Roque at the time if he has resigned because, according to the papers, he has. And so the President said, I've already asked Sal to take over. That was during the cabinet meeting. And then when we were in Bali, today is October 12, right?
Yes, sir.
So yesterday, was it? Yeah. Oh no, the night before even, because yesterday was 11, right? The day before, when the President arrived there, and before we had this, actually not even dinner because all of us had already taken dinner, Secretary Bongo told me that I would be presidential spokesperson and concurrently the chief presidential legal counsel. So that was it.
You accepted immediately, sir, the offer.
No, actually, I was waiting for a written memorandum, and my staff sent me one.
So does it mean that Secretary Roque has already resigned from post?
I
As a
really don't know. I have
spokesperson.
no personal knowledge on that. What I know is when I was asking him sometime, he really wants to be a senator. That's what I know.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you, Maricel. Question, MPC. Joseph?
So, sir, as early as October 10, no?
Yeah, evening of October 10.
Okay, so sinabihan na po kayo ni SAP. Na,
Yes.
Alright, so sir, both offices, well, yung spokesperson and press secretary.
Chief Presidential Legal
Hindi,
Counsel.
sir, yung press secretary.
Wala
ay-
pa, because the office of the press secretary has not yet been created. It has to be created by an executive order.
Okay, sir, practice na tayo, start na tayo, sir. Bilang spokesperson. Sir, any word on the replacements or the possible replacements once those cabinet secretaries file their COCs? Kasi kagabi, kinonfirm na niya si Sap Bongo. Any other cabinet members, sir, who are confirmed as of now to run for the 2019 elections?
From what I know, Cabinet Secretary Ibasco is running for governor. Who else? Secretary Francis Tolentino is running for senator. Who? I don't know if he's running. I haven't heard. I think, yeah, Tesda. Yeah, he's running. Who else? Castriones, I also. And Secretary DFA, Alan Cayetano, is also running. Well, according to him, he was running. I really don't know. But I'll support him if he runs. I told him.
Will the President support him, sir?
Hindi ba palagi niya nang ini-endorse yun noon?
Meaning
Sa
he-
mga gathering, sinasabi niya, Senator Roque.
So, sir, may mga replacements na po itong
Ang
mga...
alam ko lang na replacement si Secretary Alan. I understand Teddy Boy Locsin is already accepted from what I gather from the news.
But some of the more crucial positions, CABSEC, SAP,
Wala pa akong balita niya. But I suppose the President has some names already in his mind.
yun muna, sir.
Okay. Thank you, Joseph, MPC. Celerina muna, Maricel.
So regarding your office, will there be any reorganization?
Which office
The
it is?
as sa presidential spokesperson's office, like meron ba kayong tatanggalin or may idadagdag?
I think I will maintain the same team. I don't know yet the setup. I told the team to give me a summary of who are the members of the team, what are they doing, what is the protocol during the briefing. I might introduce some changes.
Such as?
Like, for instance, I feel like before I make a news briefing, I want to talk to heads of the departments and offices, sensitive ones, so that I will know exactly what they want to share to the public, any concern or issue that is vital.
Sir, what's the feedback regarding this draft executive order regarding the creation of OPS, Office of the Press Secretary? Was there any commitment from the President na he will already sign the EO?
No, I don't know anything about that yet. I haven't talked with the President regarding that.
Maricel?
Sir, just a clarification on your appointment, because I understand the President mentioned that this is for temporary basis only. What does he mean by that?
I don't know, most likely. I also don't know. As far as I know, I've just been designated and I'm doing my job now.
Designated as a spokesperson, but has he talked about you about the office of the press secretary? Maybe that's what he meant when he said temporary.
I know. I haven't talked to him regarding that.
Sir, just about the appointment of Faeldon, will you confirm this, sir, na inappoint daw siya nakapalit ni General De La Rosa as Bucor Chief?
Hindi ko pa narinig yan.
Oh.
I haven't heard of that.
Because I'm wondering if he already accepted the offer, because I understand there were reports before that he also has plans of running for governor.
No, I have no. As of now, but I'll check on that.
Okay,
I'll
thank
let
you, sir.
know immediately.
Okay, MPC. Rose, UNTV.
Sir, alam niyo po kung what happens now to Secretary Roque? Kasi sinabi niya sa amin na on Monday, he will release statements about this recent developments. So, as the presidential spokesperson now, ano na po ang status ngayon ni Secretary Roque?
Actually, hindi ko alam. But ang alam ko, he texted me. He asked me if he can meet you on Monday. Siguro to say his goodbyes and thanks. So he will be here on Monday.
Together with you, sir.
Yes.
Follow-up, Rose.
Considered resignation po ba yung ganun status, sir?
I really don't know eh. Di ba sabi ni Presidente sa arrival niya that he will be talking to Secretary Roque. Siguro let's wait for that.
Would you know, sir, kung nagkaroon din ba ng somehow din some misunderstanding or between President and Secretary Roque?
As far as I know, wala.
So hindi din naman po masama ang loob ni President kay Secretary Roque. Dahil sa mga nabanggit niya na magre-resign siya.
I didn't notice any body language that will point to that.
Do you think the President's still willing to give a post for Secretary Roque if he decides not to run?
That's for the president. You have to ask the president.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Rose. Secretary from Ina Andalong, what happens to the office of the presidential spokesman once office of the press secretary is formally established? Does that mean that eventually you'll give up the spokesman title and he will be referred to as press secretary? Or dalawa bang magkaibang posisyon yon?
No, I don't know about that because I have not seen the draft of the executive order creating the press secretary. I have to see that. Hindi ko pa alam kung ano exactly yon.
Thank you, Secretary. Jopel?
Sir, clarification lang po. Doon po sa sinabi niyo, sir, na Secretary Roque texted you. And does it mean, sir, na accepted niya na yung nangyari?
I suppose, in fact, he wanted to introduce me to you. But I already called the news briefing. Darating na lang siya.
Follow up, Jopel.
Sir, do you have any information na mag-uusap daw po sila SAPGO at si Secretary Roque?
No, hindi ko alam. I watched the arrival statement. Sabi ni Presidente, he will be talking to Secretary Roque.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. MPC, question? Joseph?
Sir, comment lang. Yung Human Rights Council, I think, is opposing the membership of the Philippines and some other country to the Human Rights Council. Any comment on that, sir?
Kami nga,
Yung pong Human Rights Watch pala, HRW, is
Yeah.
opposing the membership of the Philippines to this.
Opposing?
Yes, sir.
The?
Our membership, the Philippines membership to the Human Rights Council, I think, because of our alleged records on extrajudicial killings. Your comment, sir.
Who's opposing?
It's a group, sir, Human Rights Watch.
Well, but that's for the Human Rights Council, whatever that is, to decide whether it will be accepted or not.
You don't agree with the premise, sir, that we are facing a human rights crisis?
We're facing a what?
Human rights crisis, sir.
I do not think so. They've always raised that human rights violations against this administration. But as repeatedly said by the president, he will not allow any human rights violations in this country. Being a lawyer and being a stickler of the rule of law, he will not tolerate any abuses committed by public officials. And I always remember what he said during the first honest speech. He said, I'm declaring war against illegal drugs. But those who will abuse their authority will have hell to pay. That to me means that he will never tolerate any abuses committed by any official involved in the war of drugs. And in fact, we have already charged policemen who have been recommended to be charged in relation to a police raid or whatever.
Follow up, Joseph?
If there are others,
Okay. Balik muna tayo kay Jopel. Jopel, please.
Sir, any reaction lang doon po sa lumabas kahapon na balita na si UN Secretary General Gutierrez, mismong siya, sir, nagbigay ng statement na the illegal drugs is not a problem by one country at ito'y problema ng buong mundo ng bawat isa.
I agree. Because the illegal drugs is a global problem. That is precisely why conferences are being undertaken by various countries precisely to cooperate in stopping the illegal drug activities all over the world. I agree.
So, what do you think is the implication of this statement by mismong UN Secretary General, sir, na dating bumabatikos?
That means the Secretary General recognizes that problem.
Okay na, Jopel? Eileen? Okay. Sir, may nagpapatanong lang, Secretary. Pakitanong naman po, payag ba kayong magpaula ng tig 1 million pesos ang PCSO mula sa mahigit 1 billion na...
What's that? Ano, no?
Ulitin ko, sir.
Ano, ba?
Loto, sir. Sir, may nagpapatanong lang, test
Nagtumaya
questions
ba kayo?
lang to.
Ako, gusto ko na yata gusto ko na yata tumaya.
Sige, sir.
Sir, ito po yung
Aileen,
tanong.
Aileen.
Since 1.2 billion na po yung ultra loto na hindi pa napapanalunan, may nagpapatanong kung payag daw ba ang gobyerno na ipamigay na lang sa mga Pilipino yung 1.2 billion pesos considering na 100 million ang Pilipino, kung tig 1 million, payag daw ba po ba ang palasyo?
Ay, hindi natin alam. Depende. Pero alam mo, ako, if you will ask me, meron tayong protocol dyan. Baka pag sinira naman yung protocol, masira naman yung buong policy ng the very essence of Lotto. Baka naman masira.
MPC?
Pero kung, ang tanong ko sa iyo, kung nanalo ka ba, are you willing to part with your billion? All of it? To
Oo.
500 million sa iyo.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Balik tayo kay Joseph. Joseph?
Sir, with regard to the President's health, because that's what I think...
Is
Factor-
bugging you.
Huh?
Is bugging you.
Not bugging me, but with regard to Secretary Roque, because meron doon nagkaroon ng, you know, do you think, how much should the public know about the President's health?
Well, as Secretary Roque says, the Constitution requires the President to inform the public when there is a serious illness afflicting him. And as President Duterte said in one of his statements, not everything he has to tell to his spokesperson. There are certain private matters that need not be told. And I agree on both, to both of them.
Sir, why
But
sir,
what
on
I'm
the second
what
thing?
I'm very certain is the results of the second procedure undertaken by him showed negative. And given his demeanor the last few days, he's very strong.
Sir, would you ask if the how much access do you have to the President?
How much what?
Access, sir.
Access?
Yeah.
Well, I can always talk with the president.
Meaning, sir, if there are sensitive information, do you think the President will be comfortable sharing it with you?
If there are certain
That needs to be publicized.
Yes, if there are certain issues that need to be clarified, I can ask the president.
Thank you, sir.
Okay na, Joseph. From Pia Raniada, how does Malacañang define serious illness?
Well, medically, it will be the doctors who will decide on whether or not an illness is serious. Not the politician, not me, not even the president. It will be the doctors who will have to decide whether that is serious or not. I guess when you say it's serious, it's life-threatening. That would be, I think, the nearest definition to a serious illness when the patient is threatened with the loss of mortality. I don't think the president is malayo siya doon.
Thank you. MPC, parang matipid yata tayo sa question ngayon. si Lorena.
But wala si Ina. Sa Davao pa.
Sir, there was a statement before by Justice Carpio that withdrawing from ICC would weaken our stance if ever China invades Scarborough Shoal and put up military establishments there. Kasi there's this new provision daw in the Rome Statute saying about, wait lang sir, ha. Kung ano yung provision, I forgot. Wait, hindi ko makita. There's a new provision saying that aggression, yung regarding the amendment on aggression by another country. So, if we're going to withdraw from ICC, which we already gave notice to, that will weaken our stance daw. So, any comment on that? May basis ba?
Frankly, I have not seen the relation between withdrawing from the ICC and that particular Chinese issue. Wala akong makitang connection eh. And moreover, actually, misnomer yung withdrawal eh. Hindi naman tayo nag-withdraw actually. The notice was more of informing them that, excuse me, we're not part of you because you never assumed jurisdiction over us. Yeah, kasi kung walang jurisdiction, what are we talking about?
So, even if with this new provision sa ICC on crimes of aggression, you don't care. Parang,
Wala yun. But you know, let me reiterate what I said much earlier when this issue came about. The very reason why the Rome Statute was created, creating the ICC, was in order that there would be a vehicle by which we can prosecute what the country or each country perceived to be tyrants or violators of heinous crimes. But if that is the rationale, then we do not need the International Criminal Court. Why? First, as the Rome Statute says, it will only come in if the state is unwilling or unable. But we are not only willing, we're able. What's the proof? We jailed the former President Arab. People, rightly or wrongly, perceive him to be a bad leader. We also detained the former President Gloria Arroyo, but she was finally acquitted. In other words, our courts were functioning as they are functioning now. It's a robust judicial system. And more importantly, if you remember the 86 revolution, the people rose in revolt against a perceived tyrant, the late President Marcos. In other words, we don't even need an ICC because we have demonstrated to the world that we can do without.
so sir, for the sake of argument, if ever nga it's okay if it's true na ab initio yung sa pag-join natin sa ICC if ever.
Yeah.
So, will there be any plan from the Duterte administration to apply or to ratify right now, rightfully ratifying and then with the publication of this ICC, with the Rome Statute? Is there any plan?
None that I know of. As I said, we don't even need it. So why do you have to get into it if you don't need it?
Even if yung other
Moreover,
benefits?
you must remember that most of the powerful countries are not even members of that.
But we're not that powerful.
Huh?
We're not that powerful.
Even less powerful countries are not even members.
Thank you, Celerina. We will take 2 more questions. Okay. Tuesday New.
Hi, sir.
Hi.
Sir, may plano ang DILG na mag-submit sa COMELEC ng listahan ng mga narco-politician. Ang layunin daw nito ay para mapigilan o ma-disqualify itong mga ito na mag-file ng kanilang COC o mga nag-file na ng COC dahil nga sangkot sila sa illegal drugs. Pwede bang gawin ng COMELEC yun agad-agad na i-disqualify sila? Mayroon bang impact yung gagawin ng DILG?
Well, that's the call of the Commission on Elections. If it feels that it can disqualify. I was watching the interview of the spokesperson earlier in one television interview. I think with Karen, kanina. Parang he was saying that they have the authority to disqualify daw. Although, more on, sinasabi niya na pag walang capability to pursue a national campaign. Hindi dun sa whether drugs or not. Kasi baka magka-problema din sila doon, no? I mean, as a lawyer now, I'm talking as a lawyer, you cannot just disqualify on the basis of suspicion. Baka magka-problema kayo doon.
So kailangan mo na, sir, may official complaint o reklamo laban doon sa mga
Oh,
nakalista.
siguro, definitely, because that is due process.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, one last. Okay, we will take 2 more questions. Joyce. After Joyce, George.
Sir, what is your view about dun sa draft constitution ng House of Representatives putting back Vice President Lenny Robredo in the line of succession? What is your view on presidential succession in general, sir?
But you know, these amendments to the Constitution are all subject to the ratification of the people. Even the draft submitted by the commission created by the president is not the final draft, because there are many groups who are submitting drafts, proposed amendments to the Constitution, and they will be submitting that to Congress. And I'm sure Congress will collate them. Like even our office has its own draft. Attorney Chris here can tell you that he's been working on it, and Attorney Darren. We have our own draft of what we want in the new Constitution included. So depende lahat yan eh. Hindi pa naman final yan. They will be deliberating, anong maganda. But if you will ask me, I mean, personal, kasi, di ba, merong nagsasabi na merong Constitutional Commission, meron din silang gusto. O di mag-submit kayo sa tao ng as many drafts as you want. You know, there are 2 drafts. You submit it. Which one do you like? This one or that one? O kung sino manalo, di yun ang gawin natin Constitution.
Okay.
But
Follow-up,
then
Joyce.
again, you know, again, as a lawyer and as a student of history, I think i-educate muna natin yung ating mga voters. Kasi lumalabas sa survey, 80+% ang hindi nakakaintindi kung anong constitution. Siguro education muna.
Pero sir, personally, do you believe na dapat po ba pagdating sa presidential succession, it should be the Vice President should replace the President? Or dapat pa Senate President? Or
Sa akin, it doesn't matter who basta meron. What is important to my mind is that there should be a line of succession, regardless of who these people are. There should be. Kasi magkakaroon ng vacuum kapaka-problema. So it doesn't matter to me whether sino ilagay mo dyan. Basta dapat meron.
Okay. Thank you, Secretary.
O baka meron pa. Sige.
Okay,
lang.
okay pa sa inyo. George,
I'm up
Siguro
to 7 p.m.
Hi sir, good afternoon. Sir, follow up ko lang yung issue on the Narco List because the ILG was saying earlier that they may consider releasing the Narco List to the public again, like what they did during the last barangay elections. But of course, your critics would say that it's a shame campaign. And the ILG also mentioned that the President approved the release of the Narco List in the barangay level. So if the DILG will ask Malacañang once again to do it, you think the President will allow it kung hindi i-disqualify ng COMELEC yung mga allegedly involved sa illegal drugs?
As I said earlier, yung disqualification, baka malabo yun kasi baka it might violate the due process clause of the Constitution. Now, with respect naman dun sa releasing the list, alam mo, ang problema kasi, the DILG has also a responsibility to the citizens of this country to tell them exactly kung ano yung findings nila. Ito yung aming findings. Ito, nasa listahan ito. Ito ang alam namin ng mga involved. So, you cannot also blame them. In the same way, when the President released the list of those names, he was in fact implementing the duty imposed to him by the Constitution. the people have the right to information. And since the president, as president, had all the resources in the world to have access to information, he felt that it was his duty to let the people know.
But sir, yung question is yung validity ng information na nare-release sa public because while you already have the intelligence information, our authorities are still validating and still doing case build-up against these people. And once their name are already out, even if they are innocent, they're already judged by the public. So how will you react to that, sir?
Well, the law provides remedies for that. They can always resort to remedies. They can retain lawyers to protect their what they feel to be rights being violated.
So you're encouraging, sir, to sue the government just in case that they do it. And
Not,
they-
what I'm saying is, we are run by law, by the rule of law. Regardless of who are involved, we have to bow to the majesty of the law. This is what I'm saying.
Thank you, George. One last question kay Joseph, tsaka kay hindi na, okay na. Wave na si Joseph. Jopel, pagkatapos
On my... Sir,
Sir,
on my...
Sige, go ahead, Jopel.
Ayun. Sir,
please.
I'll just go back dun po sa issue dun sa statement ni UN Secretary General Gutierrez.
Yeah.
Sir, ito bang statement ni Secretary General ng UN is a proof na yung war on drugs ng gobyerno is nasa right track?
Well, you can view it that way because by saying that this is a global problem, that means she recognizes the fact that illegal drugs is worldwide. That it is a very dangerous problem that requires the cooperation of all countries in order to save generations, just like what the president is doing.
Okay, satisfied na, Jopel? Okay na? Follow up lang.
Joseph.
Okay, one last.
I think, sir, there's no quarrel, no, that the drug problem is huge and it's global. But I think the issue there is method. Would you defend the method of the Philippines as far as our attempt to curb the problem?
I think, as I stated once, I said, the method being enforced in this country is a forceful legal method. And if there are any deaths arising from police operations against drug traffickers, it only means that those involved are resisting arrest and are using violence. You must remember that those involved in drugs will never allow themselves to be arrested and detained. That's why most of them, if not all of them, have arms. They will fight to the finish. And again, I will again repeat what I said before, that most of the drug killings result from members of the syndicate killing each other. You must remember that there was 1 million surrenderies. And a lot of them have been pointing to members of the syndicates. Siyempre, necessarily, those who are being pointed to or at will have to secure themselves. And the resort would be to silence. Kaya yun ang nangyari. Eh, yun namang isa-silence mo, I don't think they will just, wait for them to be shot at. Siyempre, they will have to fight back. Kaya maraming patayan. And this happened, if I may refresh your memory, even before the president assumed the presidency. During the campaign pa lang, ang dami nang nagkakapatayan.
Okay na. Sir, habulan lang natin to. May nagpapatanong lang, Secretary. Ano ang fairness forecast sa senatorial race? Kampante ba na mananalo o pasok lahat yung mga kandidato ng Pangulo?
I think so, considering the overwhelming popularity of the president. I think the people who support him will support the candidates that he will endorse. And that's logical and understandable.
Okay. Salamat, sir. Okay na, MPC?
Thank
Pwede na tayo
you.
mag-happy weekend. Happy weekend, sir.
Happy weekend.
Thank you, MPC. Back to main studios of Radyo Pilipinas and PTV.